Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. He gone, man. He gone. He's gone. He's out of there. He's out of there. Pack watch. It's officially a pack watch. Matt Rhule has been let go. Matt Rhule has been let go. He's out of there. Oh, happy day. Pack watch. Pack watch. When Jesus was. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus was. When Jesus was. When Jesus was. Panthers Nation, what up, no? What's going on, man? I used all my voice yesterday yelling at the game, but I got plenty of vocal cords for today, baby. I got plenty of vocal cords for today, baby. Matt Rhule has been fired. Matt Rhule has been fired. He's out of there. He's terminated. Turn in your key, turn in your badge, turn in your whistle, turn in your flashlight, all the above. Matt Rhule is fired. I'm going live right now because we got to talk about it for a little bit. I'm gonna have a video later. I'm a little overcome with excitement, but give the video a thumbs up if you have not. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, please. I do Panthers content pretty much all the time. Film breakdowns weekly, talk about the games, preview the games, and we give you news and updates just like this. So make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button if you have not. But it is a pack watch. This is a Rocky Patel vintage cigar. Steve Wilks, interim coach, will be taking over. This is the college coach experiment is over, man. It's over. The college coach experiment is over. Y'all are turned up in the comments, man. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. And the thing about it is, man, we can celebrate. It is a time of celebration. It is still early. Steve Wilks takes his time now. He will be taking over as the interim coach, a guy who has experience with the Panthers as the defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? And a guy that had a stop as an interim as a coach with the Cardinals, got done a little bit dirty. Obviously, the short end of the stick. He still has a pending lawsuit with the NFL right now. But Steve Wilks will be taking over in the interim. Yesterday was bad, man. Yesterday was bad, man. I was at the game. It was bad, man. There was a lot of 49ers fans, not a lot of Panthers fans. They even tried to start a fire Matt Rhule chant yesterday, but it wasn't even enough Panthers fans there. It wasn't even enough Panthers fans at the game yesterday to get a good fire Matt Rhule chant going. That's crazy. I was sitting with some 49ers fans. I was doing the best I could. That's why my voice sounds a little weird right now. You know what I'm saying? I got my tea. But with Matt Rhule being fired, what is next? Because you apologizing for me being at the game. It is what it is, man. It was tough. Somebody under the box saw Tepper leaving early. Yeah, when I heard those juice chants with Kyle Juszczyk, whatever you pronounce his name, when I heard the juice chants after he called a pass and it sounded way louder. I mean, I guess we haven't heard a Luke chant, but it sounded like what it used to sound like when Luke used to make plays, it sounded like Luke, where they were saying juice. I knew it was bad. Whenever you get player chants, it's one thing to get cheers and stuff like that because the 49ers travel real well. The fans travel real well. They've been great for a while. They've been around for a while. They have 5 Super Bowls, whatever, in their history. It is what it is. But it's just different, man. It's when you hear other teams' players' names get chanted and it sounds like they play for your team, you know something's wrong. And it's just bad business. It's bad business. So it was loud on TV too. That's what I'm saying, man. You could tell it was a stark difference. The Niners fans, I mean, I understand. Like I said, we've been drowned out before by opposing fans, but this was bad. But you guys make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. I do Panthers content. We're going to be breaking down, obviously, the interim coach of Steve Wilks. What's going to happen with the rest of the staff? What happens with Scott Fitter? Does Scott Fitter stick around through the year? Does Scott Fitter get a chance to hire his own head coach finally? Or does Fitter get the axe as well? What happens with Phil Snow? Because Phil Snow and Matt Rhule seem to be tied at the hip. So what happens with Phil Snow? Is he out of there? I don't know. Steve Wilks is the man in charge right now. Steve Wilks will be the man in charge. And you can't, I mean, and you can't, I gotta let the people know there's a lot of people on here that aren't subscribed. I gotta let them know. Okay? And just give it a brief second. I gotta update the people. There's 288 people on here. Everybody don't subscribe. So I gotta make sure the people who are new to the channel have to subscribe. Pardon me for being considerate of the new people. I'm just trying to introduce myself to the new people. That's how we grow. Okay? Dog. Like I said, Rocky Patel cigar. Rocky Patel cigar. It's pack watch. Smoking on that Rhule pack today, man. 11-27 in 2.5 years. 11-27 in 2.5 years. That's not good enough. 11-27. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't make the Panthers great again. Sure. But it's amazing. Just what happens, man. Like it's Matt Rhule has been fired. It's officially Matt Rhule has been fired. Matt Rhule has been fired. That's just what it is. What up, though, from the job? Yeah, I mean, Matt, it's official. Some of y'all don't believe it. I'll put the tweets up. I'll put the Panthers page up. He's fired. He's fired. He's fired. He's fired. But yeah, we got to get a press conference from David Tepper. We need a press conference from Tepper. We need a press conference from Tepper. For the y'all that don't believe it, this is from the official Panthers website. The official Panthers website. Matt Rhule has been fired. You can't be 11-27 in your career. You can't be 1-27 when teams score over 17 points. That's just not realistic. It's just not realistic in the NFL in these days. Like, you got to be able to score points. Now, let's talk about it, though, because Matt Rhule, I put it on Twitter this morning. I was done blaming anybody beyond David Tepper. David Tepper is the one that set all this stuff in motion, and he is still the owner. David Tepper is the one that set all this in motion, and he's still the owner. So there's some other things that need to be discussed and talked about going forward for the future of this team. But it was a step. Step number one is admitting you made a mistake. Step number one is admitting you made a mistake. That's the first step. And this is what it is. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to learn from this? What is David Tepper going to learn from this? If David Tepper doesn't learn anything from this, this is all for naught. You can't blame Matt Rhule for taking a job where somebody offered you 7 years of security, $63 million. Most coaches' dream is to coach at the highest level. You get 7 years of job security to take your shot of going to a team like that. 7 years, $63 million for something that you've obviously overpaid. I can't blame Matt Rhule for taking the opportunity. I can't blame Matt Rhule for doing what he thought was right. It's on David Tepper for making a poor hire. When you fired Ron Rivera, you should have fired Marty Herney. That was the first mistake. You should have cleaned house completely. You want to hire your head coach and then let the head coach pick the GM? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But David Tepper doesn't operate by the book. But our next interim head coach will be Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks will be taking over as interim. Now, Steve Wilks, he'll have a good chunk of the season left. What can he salvage with this team? There's a lot of injuries. JC just got hurt. Jeremy Chin is on temporary IR. Frankie Louvu missed the game yesterday. Xavier Woods missed the game. Baker Mayfield's ankle is rolled up. Sam Darnold's ankle is messed up. The only thing with clean bill of health is the wide receivers and the offensive line. Every other position has some injuries to an extent. I guess the D-line's pretty healthy too. But still, it's going to be – I'm happy Wilks will get an opportunity to show what he can do. I'm glad he'll get an opportunity. But there's a lot more question marks out there. And I personally don't think that the Panthers are as far away as some people may think. We've been competitive. Throughout Matt Rhule's tenure. They play hard. Matt Rhule was just not the guy to get this team over the top. And like I said, there's only a certain amount of things I can blame on Matt Rhule. He's a good guy. He says nice things. I'm sure he's a good motivator. He'll be a good college coach, whether he goes to Nebraska or whatever. I'm sure. But I blame David Tepper. David Tepper put all this in motion, man. He did. And it took him so long to take the L and admit that he was wrong. It took him so long. And somebody told me today, they were just like, hey, he didn't take this long to back out of Rock Hill. I think there's a little bit more legal tape on that front. But there's a lot of stuff ahead. And I think right now, y'all are talking about in the comments, right now, the Panthers are slated for the number 1 overall pick. My boy Corey said Wikipedia already updated. Yeah, somebody updated it last week. Somebody manifested it. They manifested it. But Matt Rhule is packing his bags, man. If y'all want to go help Matt Rhule, you can go to Mint Street, 800 Mint Street. You can go help Matt Rhule with the moving truck. You got boxes. If you want to do all that. It's different. But Matt Rhule, if you want to help him pack his bags, you can go to Mint Street. He probably got them white office boxes. If you want to go help Matt Rhule pack, you can go do that. You know what I'm saying? But I got the Rocky Patel out today. But like I said, this is only a baby step, guys. This is only a baby step. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. These guys still have to play, man. Somebody said their people are celebrating downtown. Do I see this as the Panthers making an effort to save the season? They said they gave Matt Rhule a chance to address the team. I don't know what's gonna happen. There's a lot of injuries. Like I said, Baker at this point is our best shot, and he's hurt. PJ, I don't know, man. PJ, he's playing for his career as well. Because with Matt Rhule gone, PJ's time is on the clock. PJ's time been on the clock too. But if PJ gets to start, expect PJ to be slinging that thing when he gets in there. I mean, he's gonna go for broke. He came in the game yesterday with slinging it too. He came in there slinging it yesterday too. So we'll see. Now, like I said, they gave Matt Rhule a chance to talk to the players. Said Rocky Patel. Yep. Got the Rocky Patel in there today. But this was a long time coming, man. It was a long time coming because it's it's only a matter like you can't keep. This is something, and I don't know if ticket sales will go back up. I don't know if people are protesting because of Rhule. I'll still be going to a couple of games myself still this year. Um, but it, it's only a step, man. I don't know if this is a long way for goodwill for some Panthers fans, but I'm trying to tell people David Tepper is the problem, bro. We can't fire him. David Tepper is the problem. He's the problem, man. It starts at the top. It starts at the top. And so with Fitter, it sounds like Fitter may hang around. I'm sure there'll be some changes in the offseason as far as like staff and administration and front office. So we'll see. And obviously people can resign themselves as well. We'll see what happens there. We'll see how much people were kind of tied to the hip with Matt Rhule. It seems like this staff was a little bit different. This staff didn't have a ton of affiliation with Matt Rhule. So outside of Phil Snow and maybe a couple other guys, who would resign, who would leave early. Like I said, Phil Snow is around. For now, we have not heard anything about Phil Snow leaving, but like I said, maybe Phil Snow will resign once Matt Rhule accepts his new head coaching job. If Rhule accepts the new head coaching job somewhere else, maybe that'll be the time that Phil Snow jumps ship from the Panthers. But for now, we have no word about Phil Snow leaving. Maybe we'll get a press conference from David Tepper. We deserve one. We deserve to hear from David Tepper. The basement people deserve to hear from David Tepper. The basement people deserve to hear from David Tepper. We do. We need an explanation. We need to hear why. We need to hear why it took so long. We need to hear why it took so long. Because this was long overdue. There was really no reason to keep him. I mean, yeah. And I understood. I actually had a bad feeling that Tepper was going to leave him there until we were mathematically eliminated. Some of y'all are saying Sean Payton. I don't like Sean Payton, for one. And two, the Panthers would have to probably give up draft capital because he's still under contract with the Saints. And the Saints have to agree to it. I don't see the Saints agreeing to allow Sean Payton to do that. Why would you? Why would you let a coach that kind of spurned you in the offseason is resigning go to a division rival? I just don't see Sean Payton being the guy. I do want an offensive-minded head coach, but we shall see what Wilks does. Because Wilks will be he'll get a full slate. What are we, 1-4 right now? Wilks will get 12 more games. Wilks will get 12 more games. That's a good amount of time. That's a good amount of time. Because Wilks, like I said, he has that pending lawsuit with the NFL around the Rooney Rule and the abuse of it. But we'll see. Somebody said Michael Jordan buys the Panthers after he sells the Hornets. Would that be any better if Michael Jordan bought the Panthers? Would that be any better? Who knows? But if you're not subscribed and you're watching, hit the subscribe button, please. If you have not given the video a thumbs up, please give it a video thumbs up. We are discussing Matt Rhule being officially terminated from and relieved of his duties as the Carolina Panthers head coach on this good Monday. Like I said, I'm drinking a little bit of tea. My throat and voice is gone from yelling at the game yesterday. It was tough. But here we are. You feel it? But this is just a step. This is just a step. This is just a step, guys. I'm telling you, if David Tepper does not do this right, we're going to be here all over again. He has to get the next hire right. I'm telling you, it's a systematic issue, man. It's not just Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule was bad. But the reasons Matt Rhule was bad are a little bit different. The reasons Matt Rhule even got a chance is what I have an issue with. It's bigger than Rhule, man. It's bigger than Matt Rhule, dog. It's bigger than Matt Rhule. Let's just keep that in focus. It's bigger than Matt Rhule. There's a lot of bad owners in the NFL, man. There's a lot of bad owners in the NFL. We'll see. But now some people are like, okay, Rhule's gone. And now they're scared that the team could get that thing together under Steve Wilks and actually ruin draft position. I have to do some thinking and deliberating on how I feel as far as tanking, per se, with 12 games left in the season. Obviously, I want to see Steve Wilks do well. Do I think Jim Harbaugh would be a good hire? I just don't see Jim Harbaugh agreeing with – I just feel like it would be too much of a power clash between a guy like Harbaugh and David Tepper. That's my thoughts. I think it's gonna be somebody new. I think that if you keep Scott Fitter around, give him a chance. I think Scott Fitter, how hot is his seat? We'll see. How hot will Scott Fitter's seat be going forward? We will see. Now you can't just completely clean house 5 weeks into the season, because if you're gonna fire Fit, it can get a little messy. That's the GM. That's the guy pretty much running out the bulk of it. But usually you fire those guys together, especially when you have an assistant GM like Dan Morgan. So I think Scott Fitterer will probably be safe. I think Scott Fitterer will probably be safe. I think he'll be safe. But there's going to be some more changes coming. It won't happen soon. It'll probably be later rather than sooner, but there's going to be more changes, and there needs to be. There needs to be a change in the hierarchy in this team. If Matt Rhule was really having final say-so on the roster, decisions like that, unless we get somebody else that has that experience, unless you're Belichick or Andy Reid, you don't need to be having final say-so on the roster like that. I just don't like that idea. I don't like that idea for it. I like separation of power. I like separation of power. I like separation of power. Said C.J. Stroud good or a bust? I mean, he looks like he'll be. Who knows? But my Alexa, my Alexa is going off in the background. She's happy about Matt Rhule, I guess, getting fired. Um, Let me see. We got some up. These updates are coming in. Updates are coming in. Let's check it out. We got some updates coming in from Ian Rapoport. Let's listen.
And the defense has really been fine. I mean, if the Carolina and the run game has been fine too. That's another thing is we've been talking, so much about Christian McCaffrey and what's he going to be like and is he going to play and every teams every week. The run game has been fine. The defense has been fine. The pass game has been really, really stagnant. And, Baker Mayfield has struggled through another pick six. And now you mention it. He's got the ankle injury, the foot injury. My understanding is x-rays were negative, but he's going to have an MRI today. If Sam Darnold was healthy, sounds like he probably would have been the starting quarterback already. He's not healthy and probably not healthy this week.
Wow.
So P.J. Walker likely a consideration there. And, so much goes into what the Carolinas are going to do now. The Carolina Panthers are going to do now. There's what happens to Baker Mayfield. That's one. There's what happens to Steve Wilks, who it sounds like he is going to get really, really serious consideration for the head coaching job. He was a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, just given one season. And Josh Rosen, which we know how that goes, one of the worst, first-round quarterbacks we've seen in some time, really didn't seem like he got a totally fair shake there. Now he'll get one at least the rest of the season in Carolina. Then we get to the trade deadline. Do they start trading guys? I know teams are going to be interested. I know teams are going to be calling. Many, many unanswered questions, but we know they answered a big one today by firing Matt Rhule. And the defense has really been fine. I mean, if the Carolina and the run game has been fine.
All right, guys. You hear what Ian is giving a lot of updates. He's giving a lot of updates today. Giving a lot of updates today. Check this out from Ian as well. They're saying this ain't a fair shake either. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess, for Wilks, huh? It's better than nothing. He's from the Carolinas. The part of the reason he came back seems to be because he has a love for the city of Charlotte, and I think he went to Johnson C. Smith, if I'm not mistaken, Steve Wilks. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. It's unfortunate, but Steve Wilks gets 12 games. 12 games. That's a good amount of. That's a good chunk of time, man. That's a good chunk of time to try to see what he can do. So the players knew it was coming. The tone of some of those pressers, and they don't shy away from those type of questions. They shy away from those type of questions, but Brian Burns, Christian McCaffrey, all those guys are going to bat for Rhule, and we saw with Ron Rivera, it doesn't matter when the players are behind you still. Sometimes your message gets stale. Sometimes the clock just runs out on your tenure. And when it's your time, it's your time. But like I said, we can celebrate for now. This is just a step. This is just a step, guys. The real issue is David Tepper. The real issue is David Tepper. We got to get this next head coaching hire correct. We got to get the next head coaching hire correct. But what this does do for players, it puts players on notice. It's like, hey, man, with a new coach, your job is not secure either, man. Your job is not secure either because with a different coach, they're going to have different impressions on the type of players they like. So players have to tighten up too. Players have to tighten up as well. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously there's some staple pieces that are going to probably be around, but the next head coach may not want everybody else. I think a quality head coach, a quality offensive coordinator, and a quarterback can get this team together pretty quick. But The new coach may not feel that way. The new coach may want to retool with Scott Fitter. The new coach, he may want to start over. I don't think a complete rebuild is necessary. We've been way too competitive in a lot of these games during Matt Rhule's tenure for me to think tearing it down is a good idea. But we'll see. We'll see. But a lot of the stuff just seemed like it was only a matter of time. I wasn't really pressed about it. It was more so of if than when. It was more so of, it's more of when than if. But we'll see what Steve Wilks can do as the interim. Matt Rhule made some mistakes. I think his biggest mistake was not getting any coaches on his roster with professional experience. No. He didn't put anybody with with head coaching experience on a professional level on his roster to help. That's why you saw him tripping over the in-game details. And some of the stuff that transition is tough. You have to put a guy with some experience on your staff. That was his biggest mistake, I think. In that first year, everybody kind of jumped ship. Joe Brady, inexperience, in over his head, tried to blame him. That didn't work. Change offensive coordinators. You change quarterbacks. The common denominator is the head coach. But I think getting rid of Cam was probably the biggest mistake as well. You had no reason to get rid of Cam. I understand it because of the 1 year left. You want to get your own guy. But to move off of him for Teddy, that was a questionable move, man. He may be losing sleep over that, especially to get rid of Teddy the following year. Maybe I'm sure he'll regret that. And Matt Rhule, that's the thing. We talked about how much nepotism he had, how many Temple players he put on the roster, and I told you guys from the jump the reason why he did that. I told you guys the reason why Matt Rhule did that. Matt Rhule did it because he wanted his message to be able to be seen. Appreciate you for the super chase, and I'm just happy I ain't got to see them Baylor and Temple boys no more. Chandler, no tackling. Dog, that's what I'm telling you. Instead of, he could have kept a guy like Cam. Cam is great for the locker room. I think that public perception ruined him. They let public perception. You let public perception of Cam Newton change how you felt. People got this perception of Cam Newton that he's just some me first, selfish type of guy when he's probably the ultimate leader. I don't think there's too many leaders better than Matt Rhule. I mean, excuse me, more than Cam Newton. I said that wrong. There's not too many leaders better than Cam Newton. But if he could have won Cam Newton over, and it would have helped get his message throughout the locker room. Even if he only used Cam for one more year, getting Cam in your by your side to help echo the message through the locker room would have helped. But instead, he hired his homeboys on the coaching staff. Nobody with experience. He brought in a bunch of Temple and Baylor players that had coaching experience with him before that already believed in his messaging. Some were hits. A lot of them misses. Hassan Reddick was definitely a hit. Hassan Reddick was definitely a hit. But moving on to Teddy and then moving on from Teddy, that was even worse because you doubled down on your mistake. You doubled down on your mistake. Because to me, you get Teddy. He had the ultimate bridge quarterback contract. The offense has not looked as good as it was when Teddy was quarterback. Let's be real. Teddy Bridgewater was the best quarterback that Matt Rhule had. The offense never looked anything remotely close. My guy James from Mr. Bucks Nation, appreciate you on the super chat. No cap, Matt Rhule was a terrible coach. Look, we've had to go through the fire, man. You know how it goes with some of these college coaches. You guys had Greg Schiano. You guys know how it goes with some of these college coaches. As a Bucks, you know how it goes with college coaches. Greg Schiano, man, he was a rough one too. Matt Rhule will be going down as one of the worst college to pro coaches ever. Yeah, I mean, it don't stop, man. The film review will still be coming. That'll still be going up tomorrow night. Film review still will be going tomorrow night. We're still going to break down what happens, man. We still got to support the players. Still got to break down what's happening. It's still a season. Life goes on. Somebody said they got paid today and Matt Rhule fired. Yeah, but you guys missed my rendition of "Oh Happy Day." Said Matt Rhule got paid too. Yeah, he got paid. He's gonna get a bag regardless. That was David Tepper's mistake. He paid him too much money, and it made it more difficult to let him go. A 7-year contract made it so much more difficult to let him go. So it is what it is. I got my Rocky Patel. Obviously, I got a Panthers news video probably coming up this afternoon, so just stay tuned, guys. This was just spur of the moment. This is spur of the moment. I will be dropping a more in-depth discussion about this later, so make sure you guys are subscribed and stay tuned with that. Unfortunately, I have a meeting at noon for my job, but I will be returning. I appreciate you guys. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Panthers content coming later today. Film breakdown tomorrow. We got to keep this rolling, man. The season, we still got 12 games left. We got to lick your wounds. It'll probably be a presser today. I'm assuming. If there's a press conference, I'll break it down as well. So we'll stick around, guys. I have to get off here, but I will be returned. It's QB up for grabs. I appreciate the super chat. It's QB up for grabs. Currently, PJ Walker will probably be the starter. PJ Walker will probably be the starter for now. Do I think PJ is ready? That's to be seen. Is PJ Walker ready? That's to be seen. But PJ Walker, like I said, he has some attachment to Matt Rhule. He had that Temple background with Matt Rhule. So he knows that his football future is kind of on the line too. He's going to be sling. If he gets a shot, I expect PJ Walker to let it go, to sling the ball around, man. I expect PJ Walker to sling it because he has nothing to lose. PJ Walker has nothing to lose, man. Matt Rhule was a good reason why he's been around. I think he can be competent in certain spots because he has a strong arm, but PJ decision-making can be a little at times. And without Matt Corral, we're in a weird spot. If Matt Corral was in, we'd be in a good position. Just put Matt Corral in and ride with him the rest of the year. This would be a great spot. But Matt Corral got his foot hurt, so we're in a weird spot, man, because we don't know what we're going to get from Matt Corral now. The future is definitely up in the air still, so a lot of changes coming to this Panthers organization, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to me. I'm going to stay on top of it, guys. I appreciate you. All the super chats, I appreciate the love. Like I said, another video coming later today. We're going to break down if they do a press conference. We'll hear what David Tepper has to say, and we'll do that. But it is what it is. So I'll see you guys later on in the later video tomorrow. Obviously, like I said, live stream on the film breakdown. I'm out of here. Peace.